Welcome to the Echo Tips podcast. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about a brand new feature that was released around the middle of September, and that is a new addition to the Samuel L. Jackson voice skill. Now, in past episodes, we discussed that skill and how you could utilize it, but it was a little troublesome. But now they've added a wake word function, so you can actually get your Echo to respond by saying, "Hey, Samuel." So that we'll be discussing that in this episode, but before we get into the nitty-gritty of those details, we're going to go to a brief message about our podcast, and then I'll be right back. This episode is brought to you by the New Vision program at Goodwill. We're also grateful for the kind use of WVTF Studios. New Vision is a program of Goodwill that provides information services and assistive technology training to individuals with visual impairments living in Southwest Virginia. Goodwill Industries of the Valleys is a nonprofit organization serving the New River, Roanoke, and Shenandoah Valleys of Virginia. Goodwill's mission services help individuals with disabilities and disadvantages to get back to work and gain greater independence. These shows are provided for educational purposes. This podcast may not be retransmitted, sold, or reproduced without written permission from New Vision. Hello, welcome back once again. As I mentioned earlier, we're going to be talking about some new advances in the Samuel L. Jackson skill, a skill where you could actually in the past talk to Sam, ask him questions, and get responses. It was pretty cool. It was a very, very cool. But now they've added some new wake word functionality. So we're going to talk about that in this episode. But just first, before I get into this too much, if you're brand new, we'd like to welcome you back to the podcast. And these are a little nuggetized podcasts where we try to teach you something new about your Amazon Echo in probably under 10 minutes, every week. But if you've been listening for some time, we appreciate your support and would love you to continue to listen to us and subscribe. You're welcome to give us feedback as well, and we really appreciate that. We're about to pass 50,000 episodes 50,000 listens to our limited supply of episodes. Just a little over 100 now, so it's pretty amazing. All right, so let's get right into the nitty-gritty of how this works. Now, previously, if you had purchased this skill, which costs, I think, around 99 cents, it might have went up to like $1.99 at one point. Once you bought this skill, and you can check back a previous episode about that, it would ask you whether you wanted the clean version or the explicit version, that kind of thing. But to invoke it was kind of a challenge. It wasn't always easy. Now, first off, before I start saying the A-Lady name, if you have any echoes in the room with you, other than maybe the one you're listening to, you're going to need to shut their ears off because I don't want to trigger your echoes here in your rooms, and stop the podcast. So you might want to take a moment to do that. It's a little button with a silhouetted microphone on it. I think on some of the modern echoes, it might even be the letter M engraved for mute, and you can press that, and that will shut her ears off. So we'll just give you a second to do that, and once you've done that, we'll be ready to go. And I'm going to actually follow my own advice so I don't trigger mine. Okay, so what do you need to know? So first off, in the old days, you would say, "Alexa, ask Sam," or "ask Samuel, what's the weather?" And Samuel L. Jackson would come back and read you off the weather reports. Pretty cool. And it sounded very natural sounding. But now there's a wake word functionality. And now the wake words historically on the Echo are always going to be Alexa. That's the default. Amazon is another alternative. Echo is another alternative. And lastly, computer. If you feel like Captain Kirk, you could say computer. So those were your options. But now you can say, once you've enabled this feature, you can say, "Hey Samuel," and it will trigger your Echo. And so let's get right into it and give it a try. So let me turn my Echo's ears back on. Alexa, enable Hey Samuel.
Well, okie dokie. You're all set. It might take us a minute to set some stuff up.
Yeah. We'll be here if you need us. Just say, Alexa.
Or, hey Samuel.
Before we continue, Sam uses mature content.
Well, yeah, it's true. I have been known to occasionally use some words that may not be suitable for all ages. Is it okay to continue with the explicit version?
No.
Clean version, got it. If you change your mind, you can update this setting in your Alexa app. You're all set. Try asking me a question, to play some music, or tell you a joke.
Okie dokie, so we're ready to go, and as you learned, you can still use the old wake word as well. You can use both. So let's give this a try. Hey Samuel, tell me a joke.
What were the baby banana's first word? Yellow.
Okay, that's pretty lame. But anyway, that gives you just a kind of a neat little idea. And of course, he's going to be limited on some things still, but they have expanded his vocabulary and different things. So you might see some future editions and things you've never heard before. And now you can just regularly just say, you know, that trigger phrase and give him a command. So it's pretty awesome, I think. And it may be opening a lot of doors for us in the future with us being able to customize wake words, which would be super cool. All right, well, in an upcoming episode or episodes, we're going to be discussing some of the disability features on the Amazon Echo for those with visual impairments, maybe perhaps are totally blind. We're going to talk about maybe some features for the deaf as well, and or hard of hearing. And we're going to discuss some of those disability features that have been baked right into the Amazon Echoes pretty much from the beginning, or the early days, the earliest Echo Dots and things that I ever worked with. But until that time, it's time to turn the microphone back on your Amazon Echo, start practicing some of the many things that you've learned, and we thank you for listening.
Thanks, Dave. In conclusion, let me tell you a thing or two. This episode is brought to you by New Vision at Goodwill Industries of the Valleys, and it is also made possible in part by a grant from Community Foundation serving Western Virginia. And there's more. We're also grateful for the kind use of WVTF Studios. New Vision is a program of Goodwill that provides information services and assistive technology training to individuals with visual impairments living in Southwest Virginia. For more information, check out our website at goodwillvalleys.com/newvision, with no spaces. Goodwill Industries of the Valleys is a non-profit organization serving the New River, Roanoke, and Shenandoah Valleys of Virginia. Goodwill's mission programs help individuals with disabilities and disadvantages to get back to work and gain greater independence. These shows are provided for educational purposes. This podcast may not be retransmitted, sold, or reproduced without written permission from New Vision. Thanks for listening.